Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of logo design using Photoshop and Illustrator. So now we are on our chapter number 10, where I'll be showing you guys a later logo design in Illustrator. So we'll be learning how you can actually design a logo using a single letter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of Adobe Illustrator. First thing first, let's create up a new file. Okay, so I'll just click on new file over here and let's name this one as letter logo. And the width and the height is fine. Let me just increase my blade instead of 5 to 10. And let's click on create over here, and the artboard is basically being created for me. Okay, so now let's come here onto the properties panel. Let's turn on my ruler, and over here I need to make sure that my smart guide is on, and I'll come here and I will just put out my ruler on all the four sides. Okay, so let's bring this ruler over here, and now let's go on top and let's put it right over here, and after that let's put it right over here itself. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see, this is basically done. Okay, so now the next part is creating the letter logo. Okay, so first thing first, instead of taking letter, I'm going to create some letter using the shapes. Okay, so let me just take this rectangle tool and let's come here and let's create up this particular line, or let's create this rectangle box. Let's increase the stroke. Okay, let's give it a stroke of 2, and also if you do want to work on with the fill, let me just give this particular fill. So now again, let's take my selection tool. Let's click on alt and let's duplicate it right over here. So I'll just duplicate it right over here. Again, let me just duplicate this one. And after that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come here and you're going to place one just in between. So I'm going to make the letter H over here. So now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and let me just give this up a rotation. Okay. Otherwise, what you guys can also do is just select all these three. And from here, let's go to align option and let's go to this distribute option right over here and make sure to distribute all of those properly. Okay, so I will just distribute all these things properly right now, and let's come here and let's select this and let's give this up a rotation. Okay, so I will try to give this up a 90-degree rotation right over here, and I will love to just place it right over here. Okay, so I will just place it right over here, and let's select this one up and let's change the fill. Okay, so let me just not put any fill over here, and the same way let's select this and I will just select no fill, and also right over here let's try to select no fill as well. Okay, so once you're done, let's come here and let's select all of this, and let me just keep this thing right over here in the center. Okay, so once you're done with this particular part, let's take this path, and here you guys can see that here you do have all these options. Okay, so if you do want to change the radius, okay, you guys can come here and you guys can just double click, and over here you guys can just change out the radius from here. Okay, so this is how you guys can basically change out the radius, and let's double click from here, and here also you guys will be able to change out the radius from these particular sites. Okay, so now let's select this particular path. Once you have changed the radius, let's go to this object option, and from here basically you guys can go to this path option. Okay, and from path you need to make sure to go to the offset path option. Okay, so over here now you guys can just go to this offset path option right over here, and instead of 10, if I just go with 8, and let's check out the preview right from here. This looks good. Okay, so I will just click on OK right over here, and after that now let's select all of it, and from here, so once you have selected all of this, let's go to my toolbar, and from my toolbar let's select the shape builder tool. Okay, so over here now, as I do have this shape builder tool, I am going to create a shape right over here, as you guys can see. Okay, and the same way, let's come here. Okay, so I do want to create this shape, and also I am going to create this particular shape right over here. Okay, so now as this is done, now let's take my selection tool again, and now let's select outside. Let's say I will just take out this path, or let's say I'm gonna come here, and let's try to zoom in, and let's see over here as well. Okay, so from here, if you don't want to select any part, you guys can also delete that. So for that, again, select all of this. Now let's take my shape builder tool. Let's click on alt, and I can just delete this particular part. Okay, so I will just delete this particular part right over here, and also let's delete this part. Okay, and from here now let's take this part, and I will just delete this one as well, and lastly let me just delete this particular part from here as well. So this one kind of looks good. Now let's go back, and from here, if you do want to change out the colors, you guys can come here and you guys can change up the color. But at the same time, let's come here, let's select up this path. Let's say I will just select this path, and from here, if you just take my direct selection tool, okay, so I will be able to change that. So if I just come here, if I just double click, okay, so now let's click on OK, and from here I will just change it from one angle, and the same way, let's come here, and I will just select this one. Let's select this part and give this one up a curve, and let's select this particular path. Okay, or let's come here, let's select this one. Now if I take my selection tool, and if you do want to move this one up a little bit, you guys can come here and you guys can basically do that. Okay, so let's come here. From here, let's take this particular path, and you guys can just work with all those options over here as well. Okay, so as this is done, let's come to this option, and from here now let's try to give these things up different color. So let's go to fill, and from here let's try to explore the library. So let's go with metal, and here once I have this one, let's try to give this thing up some different colors. Okay, so let's take this one, let's go with this color, and lastly let's come here and let's give out this particular color over here as well. Okay, and once this is done, let's try to get this one and increase the size from here. Let's just place it right over here, and you guys can see this is how it looks. And using shift, if you want to select all of it, let's come here, let's just select all this. And if you do want to decrease the stroke, you guys can come here and you guys can just decrease the stroke altogether. Okay, so let's come here, and if you do want to decrease the stroke as well, you guys can come here and basically decrease the stroke altogether. And if you do, let's come here, let me just put 0.1, Same way, let's go with point 1 over here. Lastly, let's go with point 1 over here as well. Now I will just select this one and let me just keep this thing over here in the center. Now you guys can actually put up a rectangle just on top of this one. Let's come here and let me just put this one kind of like this. And after that, now let's come here. Let's change its color. Let me just go with this one, right click and just go to arrange and I will just click on send to back. And if you don't want to group it up, you guys can come here and you guys can just group these icons up as well. Let's click on shift. Let's select this. And lastly, let's select this path and I can just group all of this thing up. And now what I can do is I can just position it inside. Let's say I will come here and just inside I will just position it exactly over here in the center. Okay, so at the same time, if you do want to decrease the size, you guys can come here and you guys can basically decrease the size right from here as well. And if you do want to put out some different colors, you guys can also do that. So this is one. Here you guys can see I do have actually put out a color. So if you just want to go to fill directly from here, you guys can just come here, go to the color mixer option, and you guys can choose one. And also now after selecting this, let's increase the stroke from here as well. Okay, so you guys can just increase the stroke, which will show this one as a border. Okay, so this is one. And now let me show you guys another one. So let's go to file. From here, let's click on new. And over here now, I will just name this one as letter logo 2. Okay, so let's name this one as letter logo 2. And now let's click on create. And here now let's try to create a different logo than this. Okay, so here I do have it for the H. Okay, so over here now I do have it for H, but let's come here and let's make it for a different letter. Okay, so for that, what you need to do is you're going to use the grid method. So for that, let's come here. Let's take the line segment tool. And over here, I will just increase the stroke or let it be one only. And what I can do is I can just create up a straight line. And at the same time, let's take this selection tool. Let's click on Alt. And now you guys can just give this one a position. Let's come here. Let's click on Alt and let's put out a position right here as well. And the same way, let's click on Alt and let's position this accordingly right over here as well. So let's select all of this thing and now let's try to align it accordingly. So I'll just go to this distribute option and from here I need to make sure that all those are distributed properly and also distributed properly vertically as well. Okay. And now once this is done, okay, if you do want to increase the size, let's say you guys can come here and you guys can increase the size and let's select this one and you guys can just place it again right over here. Okay, so now I do have selected all of this and from here now let's go to this object option and from here you guys can just go to the transform option. Okay, and from transform option, if you do want to rotate, if you do want to move, you guys can actually do that. But before that, now let's come here again and let's try to give this up a bit of rotation. Okay, so if you do want to come here and if you do want to give this up a rotation, let's come here, let's give this one up a rotation. And now again, let's go to object, let's go to transform and let's click on reflect, which is okay. And you guys can just click on copy over here, and this one kind of looks good. Okay, so as this particular part is done, the next thing what you're gonna do right over here is basically take up a straight line and just place it right over here. Okay, so for that, now let's come here, let's take up this straight line, and from here now let's try to put it right over here at this particular point. Let's say at this particular point is also fine, and if you do want to put it right over here, that is also fine itself. Okay, so let me just try to create a line directly from this particular intersection. Okay, so I'll just click shift and alt, and as you guys can see, I will be able to create up a line right over here. And now let's take this one, let's click on alt, and over here now I am going to put this right over here itself. Okay, so now as this particular part is basically done, now the next thing is to select all. Okay, so I'll just select all, and let's double click right over here, and let me just take up a black color for the fill. Okay, so let's come here and let's go with a black fill, and now I will click on shift M to get my shape builder tool. Okay, so from here now I am going to create up a shape. Okay, let's come right over here, and from here now if you do want to create up a shape, you guys will be able to create up a shape right from here itself. Okay, so now let's come here, and again from here what you're gonna do is you're going to create up a shape over here as well. Okay, so let's come here and let's create up this particular shape right over here as well. And if you do want to join it up, you guys can come here and you guys can basically join it up over here as well. Okay, so now let's come here and let's select both of this shape. Okay, otherwise if you do want to join it in middle, you guys can come here and you guys can basically join this part over here in middle. So let's take my selection tool, let's take this one and let's click on shift. Okay, so I'll just take this one right over here, and let me just take this one as well. So I do want to select two parts over here. Let's select this and this, and over here now I do have deleted all the other parts right over here, or those are basically not visible. Okay, so let's come here, let's select both of this, control X, and all the extra part which I had over here, let's click on delete, and now I will just click on control V to get this particular uh, logo right over here. Okay, so once you are done over here, now if you do want to put out different colors, let's say I will just select this one and I will just give no opacity or no stroke. The same way, let's come here and I will not give any stroke as well. Okay, so I won't put any stroke over here as well. Let's select this color. Now let's go with this flowers option, and from here let's take out a different color. Okay, so let's come here, let's take this green, and the other one let's take this particular color. Let's come here, let's take out this particular color, and here you guys can see that I already do have this particular logo. Okay, so now once you're done, let me just place this one over here in one side, and afterwards if you want to put on any text, okay, let's say let's come here and now let's type EW, and let's type, or let's take my selection tool, let me click on space, and after that I will just put out some different color, or let's say I want to take out some different font over here and I want to give out a different color to the font as well. Okay, so let me just place it right over here, and this is how it actually looks. Okay, so let's increase the size, and this is the whole logo for you. And I hope this class was clear of how you will be able to create a logo using letter. And now, lastly, let's save this file. Let's go to file. Let's go to export. And as I want to export more than 2 frames, so for that, let's come here. Let's cancel this. Let's go to file. Let's go to export, and I will click on export for screens. So I will just take this one and I'll just click on export artboard, and I will just click over here. And here you guys can see that I do have created this one over here, and I do have canceled this one. Let's come to this letter logo. Let's go to file. Let's go to export, and I'll just select export as letter logo PNG, and let's click on no. I will just name this one as letter logo 2, and I will just export this particular file right over here. So let's click on OK, and that particular file is being saved as well. So yeah, I hope this class was clear. I hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.